It's my privilege to introduce Mr. Shivasan to all of you. He's a director, BioVedas Consultancy Private Limited. BioVedas is a turnkey healthcare consulting firm. They have set up and managed 12 diabetes centers in India and abroad. Strategic advisor, knowledge partner, Medical, India's largest medical equipment exhibition. In fact, I wanted to share with you, last year MCCA and Medical associated jointly, we did a program for them during their exhibition held at Senate Trade Center. And the connecting point between MCCA and Medical for the past 2 years is going well. Happy to know about that. Provides strategic digital marketing consultancy services for top corporate hospitals in India. Develops business intelligence and offers data science solutions for corporations. Advises various medical equipment companies on strategic planning in various activities, strategic planning, expansion, branding, and marketing. Partner of Digitarity, a 29-year-old India's first IT finishing school offering high-end IT training for top IT MNCs and colleges. I request Mr. Shivasan, please start the presentation. And you know the procedure. We have about 2 hours till 1 o'clock. We have time. So maybe after the presentation, we can have extensive question answers with the participants, and then we can close the around 1 o'clock side. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the introduction. And good morning to all. And so today's session, we're going to look at understand data management as well as Excel. Excel as a tool. And I'm going to keep the presentation limited and focus more on the practical demonstration. And
sir, just 1 minute. I think your voice is really feeble. I have to make a little bit audio volume to be increased.
Is it okay now, sir?
Hi.
Is it better?
Yes, it's better, sir.
Fine. So we would be looking at Excel as a tool, how it can help to manage your hospitals and the clinics. And we'll also look at some data management concepts. And I'll keep the presentation very for a less period, and we'll focus more on the practical demonstration. And I will also share a few practice files for you to practice, and which would help you to understand the concepts and then use it. And so let's. So I know Doctor's Day has been, it's past July 1st, but anyway, salute to all the your service and the frontline work what you do against the coronavirus and COVID, and sacrificing a lot of things. So it's always it's a pleasure to be associated with the doctors and the healthcare community. So salute to all your sacrifices and your services. So BioVedas, just a quick introduction. We are a turnkey consultancy company. So we wear a lot of hats, like marketing to HR to IT, a lot of services. We have professionals, chartered accountants, doctors, MBAs, and finance professionals in our group. So we've been associated with healthcare for the last 25 years. Worked with a lot of various hospitals, clinics, and quite a lot of things in healthcare. That's our motto, where medicine meets management. And yeah, to start with Excel, it's a very funny thing to start. I have a picture of an auto rickshaw. So I would say that Excel is something similar to auto rickshaw, where in IT, a lot of software, a lot of hardware, so many things have come and gone, a lot of tools have been replaced. But Excel is something which has not been replaced for the last 25 years. And it's still going very strong. I don't think there is going to be any other spreadsheet application which is going to come and replace Excel. So it's like autos. We have so many four-wheelers coming, so many adaptations, things, but still the auto rickshaws goes very strong in our country. So Excel it's a simple analogy. So it's a must-learn tool for everybody. And the beauty of Excel is it can keep changing the way you want to use it. It's like a chameleon. You can kind of a doctor can use it very differently. A finance professional can use it very differently. A sales marketing person, that is, I'm talking about departments or within your hospitals, can use it very differently. The front office executives will use Excel for a simple scheduling. Your finance team can use it for a lot of formulas, budgeting, forecasting, and sales and marketing team can use it for analysis. So it can beautifully adapt and change to the way you want to use it. And there are close to 1,500 features which are available in Excel, and it's practically not possible for us to kind of learn. So as a hospital owner, as a doctor, you don't have to even think of mastering any of the tools. But the end of the program, I just want you to basically understand that what are the things Excel can do, what it cannot do. So once you understand the boundaries, you can easily get the work out of your finance guys or your secretaries or whoever is reporting to you. So once you know what to ask for, it becomes easy for you to manage, measure, and control your hospital better. So at the end of the program, I don't expect you to kind of open Excel sheets and then start working every day. If possible, that's well and good. But you'll definitely have a lot of a few assistants to help you out. So you can definitely get better work out of them. And if a work is done for 1 hour in Excel, probably after with some kind of features and practice, it can definitely be reduced to 30 minutes or 20 minutes. The Excel has so much to offer for data management. Why Excel? Of course, number crunching. The best tool for number crunching. Data cleansing and integration. You would have a lot of HMS applications, HR applications, payroll applications, financial applications like Tally. So you could import the data into Excel and do a lot of cleansing and then do integration with Excel. What if analysis? This is one of the critical and main features of Excel, where it would help you to ask this what if question. What if is the scenario is like this? What if this is going to go wrong? What if this is going to happen? So it would help you to answer a lot of your what if questions. KPIs, key performance indicators. What are my key metrics, key performance indicators which I need to look at every day? So Excel will help you to kind of build the dashboards. Forecasting. What is going to be my budget? A lot of things can be forecasted with Excel tools, and of course data visualization. And so the analysis and visualization are critical components of the Excel. So there are quite a lot of other features which are available, but these are the critical things which can be used with the help of the Excel tool. And we have to remember, Excel is a double-edged sword. So it definitely gives you the power to know, but it also, throws open the ways to manipulate data and security. Since it is readily available, and if you do not have secure systems, the data can easily be manipulated. So we need to be careful with that. So you need to know the boundaries of Excel. If it is used correctly, it is one of the best tools for data analysis and data interpretation. And if it is not used correctly, and if it is not monitored properly, there is always a scenario somebody can manipulate the data, and security will also be an issue. Single version of truth again. So if you ask somebody to do an analysis or ask you to send you a report in Excel, it can go through a lot of tables and desks. A lot of your people can go through that, and by the time it comes to you, the data may not be correct, and there could not be a single version of truth. So the finance team can look at a different data, a marketing team can look at a different data. So the single version of truth has to be taken into consideration while you're working in Excel. So as doctors and hospital owners, I think if you ask the right questions, you will get the right answers. That's the most fundamental thing about data management and data excel. So that is any data which flows within your hospital. With that, you should be able to ask the right questions because it is your own data. It could be patient data, it could be any data. So if you ask the right question, you would be able to manage your hospital better. So Excel will help you to ask the right question. So it could be questions like, how do I cut cost? Which specialty is performing better if you have multi-specialty or if you have multiple procedures? And who are my customers? Where do they come from? What are their characteristics? And how efficient are my staff members? What is my ALOS? What is my time spent by probably a nursing staff in a particular IP ward or whatever it is? So there are quite a lot of questions. I know the HMS can give all these questions, but HMS will definitely have its boundaries. So with the help of a tool like Excel, you can definitely import data from your HMS, do some cleansing, do some validation, and you will be able to answer few more questions which the HMS gives. So you can just build upon. These are just very basic questions. I'm sure many of you already asking these questions and then getting answers for that also. So you need these questions ultimately to make the right decision. The next step, the next correct step forward will based on your decisions. And if the decisions are based on data, so at least we can be, we can sleep better that I've taken a decision based on the existing data, if the data is correct. And with respect to data, there is a term called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. The quality of output depends on the quality of input. So it is of the utmost importance that we collect the right data, not just collect it, somebody should validate it. It could be about clinical data, it could be about patient data, it could be about billing, whatever it is. Once we collect the right kind of data, so the data collection and data management, the first step of data management is the data collection. So once you do that, then definitely if the input is correct, if the raw data is absolutely cleansed, validated, then definitely the analysis or reports, what you take out of that, it is going to be of great value. And that would lead you to make better decisions. The problem is, it is not a problem with only with hospitals, but it is a problem with any organization, small, medium, and big. They can't find the data. Where is my data? You can't find it. Even if I find it, I can't understand it. Even if you understand, I can't use the data. I can't put to use because there are a lot of restrictions. It is not kind of helping me to take a decision. So this is a typical scenario in any hospital or any clinic. So we've seen quite a number of hospitals, large, medium, small. So this problem still persists with most of the healthcare systems. Even for other industries also it applies. The problem is all these data are in silos. You could have one operations data, you could have one finance data, you have patients data, it could be in HMS, you have an HR data which could be maintained in an Excel file, or it could be in a payroll system, whatever it is, at an attendance system. So the biggest problem is they don't talk to each other. So the data, once these silos talk to each other, then the businesses can run better. And so any HMS system, what is being used, what it does is, HMS systems are fantastic. I'm sure everybody of you would be using an HMS system. It's very good. That is, what it does is, it helps you to record a transaction. It helps you to record a transaction from the billing to the discharge. So, but the problem with the HMS system is, it takes that one complete cycle, a patient cycle, who first walks into a OP, then probably gets admitted, gets the treatment done, it is successful, gets discharged. That some complete cycle, it's getting recorded and kept in silos in different places, and they don't talk to each other. That is the biggest problem. So that's where you need to connect different points for you to make sense out of the data, for you to help make the correct decisions. And either you are dependent, we're dependent on the vendor or the in-house ITT. So both are almost equal. So either we depend on a vendor. So if you're going to ask him, probably he'll come and tell us that no, for this you have to pay extra. And even if you pay, you don't know when you're going to get it. And the same thing happens to you if you have an in-house IT team. It also depends on their competence as well as the sincerity of purpose as well as the loyalty. So you are kind of bound to these two major factors. And your data could be about your patients, about your materials, infrastructure, resources, financial data, of course, and it could be your data of employees. So once you combine these data, then the data management becomes a lot more easy, and the kind of results and the output, reports and analysis, what you can get is something remarkable. So what you can do is you can give life to your data. So that's what Excel can do. So if it's used correctly and properly, if the data management is planned beautifully, then it can give a lot of light and color to your data. It could be more the data, better the light. So it could be 3 years, 4 years, 10 years of data. So once you probably, if you can put everything together, start analyzing, you can see a lot of beautiful patterns, which would help you to go forward. So when you look at this pyramid, there are a lot of buzzwords in data management. It could be, you have the raw data, it could be reports, it could be analysis, analytics. Somebody can come and tell you about artificial intelligence, data mining. It's all about data. So just to give some kind of perspective about all these different terminologies, which is a bit confusing even for not for just for doctors, even for guys who work in IT, they get confused with the terminologies. So we are not alone. So data is the raw data. So that's going to be critical. That's the bottommost layer. So that has to be validated. That has to be cleansed. That has to be collected properly. The data input point, the collection system, the validation system are absolutely crucial for any data management system. Next comes the reports. Reports are one-dimensional. When I say one-dimensional, say a bill of a patient could be a report. Okay, just consolidating everything and then printing it out and then giving it. Or it could be a simple thing about what is my number of admissions for the day? What is the expense for the day? So these are all could be the simple reports, which are not interactive. Reports are push, that is, it is given to you and you consume it. And there could be various other examples. It could be your, ALOS. It could be about the staff efficiency, attendance, and things like that. The next layer is the analysis part, where you're not kind of sufficiently happy with the reports. You want to ask more questions. Okay, fine. This is my admissions, the number of admissions or the revenue for the day. I want to break it down. I want to see the revenue with respect to probably divided into OP and IP. Fine, OP and IP, you got that. And you're not satisfied. You further wanted to drill down to probably demographics. You want to see, where do I get these OP patients from? From which part of my city, which part of the state they come from? And fine, that is also done. And you want to ask, okay, fine, what is the specialty? I get X number of OP patients, but I want to know how many from different specialties, how many from, different genders or age group. And this analysis becomes interactive. It becomes, you can drill down the data. So that is the key difference between an analysis and reports. So an HMS can provide reports. There are few HMS who also gives you dashboards with respect to bit of analysis, but that is again restricted to the HMS capabilities. If it is developed, you can consume it. If it is not, then you cannot. But if the Excel tool is used properly, it can help you with a lot of your analysis questions. You can import the data from the HMS, connect it properly, import it, cleanse it, connect it. Once you do these three things, then you can keep on asking a lot of questions, and your analysis can go deeper and deeper and deeper until you get that one spark. Okay, this is the main reason my revenue is going down. This is the main reason my costs are going up. This is the main reason my patients are staying for a longer period of time. So for analysis, you have to go one step further. So you have the data, which is the raw part. You have the reports, which is going to be one-dimensional. You have the analysis where you can keep asking a lot of different questions, keep building on it. And the best part about analysis is you must have a system where you are not dependent on your vendor or your IT team. There are some confidential questions which you would like to ask to yourself, and you don't want even the question for somebody to know about that. So that could be a very, very critical, important business decision, which is going to take you to a different direction. And so with a right data management platform, you can achieve that. So the confidentiality, you can ask, you can open it, you can download it, you can download the data, cleanse it, validate it, and then ask the question for yourself. Once you know the tool, how to use it in a proper way. So we've seen data, reports, and analysis. So we are going to see these things practically, the analysis part. We're going to focus more on the analysis part in today's webinar, practically. Analytics. So everybody talks about, artificial intelligence, analytics, data management. What are these terminologies? Analytics is, or data mining. You mine the data in such a way that is, if you want to take a small piece of gold, you need to mine so much of soil to get the gold. So that's what data mining. Analytics and data mining both can be equated terminology wise. Analytics is looking forward. With my data, you have 5 years of data. Can you predict what could be my OP? So of course, you have to rule out the last 3 months, 4 months of COVID and coronavirus patterns. You have to take that pattern out. Can you predict what is going to be my OP footfall? With proper data collection system and the analysis system, you can definitely predict it. So, and AI is one step further, actually, where the machine itself will take the patterns and then tell you this is going to happen. That could be a possibility. But for AI to work in healthcare, it's going to take lot of time, lot of data, you need to apply the right questions. Only then these things can work. AI can never replace a human system. It's not going to happen in the near future. But there are various steps which are going in the right direction, but it's going to take very, very small steps have been taken. So data, reports, analysis, analytics. So if you understand this pyramid, so this could go a long way. And this is a very important slide. You need to measure certain metrics. So what is not measured cannot be improved. It could be a measurement of your admissions or revenue or financial data. It could be anything. If it is something is not measured and monitored on a probably on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, based on the importance. There are certain things which you need to monitor weekly. There are certain things which you need to monitor daily. There are certain things which have to be monitored on a monthly basis. But for the monitoring, you need to collect the data. Once the data is collected, you have to build metrics. Okay, so that metrics, there could be some standardized metrics which could work for all hospitals. There could be metrics which is specific to your type of hospital or which is specific to your operation style. So you're not bothered about so many other things. In your mind, you are clear that I'm going to look at these 3 numbers on a regular basis for me to have focus. So once you measure, that brings focus. Once you have focus, definitely that would help you in the improvement. So, and as I told you before, you have to know the Excel boundaries. Excel is a great tool, but Excel has its own boundaries. So we cannot be thinking everything in Excel. So I've been using Excel for the last 26 years, building a lot of BI applications. Excel can do a lot of things, quite a lot of things, but it has its own boundaries. So you should know when to, draw the line. There are certain things which you need to depend on HMS. And HMS and Excel combination can work very nicely. So it can be used, Excel can be used with various other software, various other tools for you to give better results. So that is like it's like a topping on a cake. So it can beautifully work with so many tools, so many things can be integrated with Excel. So for what you can use Excel for? You can use for expense, revenue analysis, patient demographics if you want to analyze it, payroll and scheduling, project planning if you're kind of planning to start a new department or a new kind of a new venture, whatever it is. Excel is a beautiful tool for that. Clinical and a lot of research, a lot of epidemiological study with bit of bioinformatics. You can do beautiful research with Excel. Inventory management. It's a very cost-cutting or a expense monitoring tool. ALOS, your average length of stay, or a lot of other beds-related statistics we can kind of analyze in Excel. Operations, of course, there are a lot of day-to-day operations about your employees. About it could be your managing your canteen, managing your laundry, whatever it is. A lot of things can be kind of automated with Excel. So these are all broad. I'm not saying that it is restricted to only these. Again, all these users has a lot of subtopics, and it can be expanded to so many other ways also. It could be a simple front office appointment management system where you can do it in Excel. And once you empower the front office staff members, they can probably use it in a better way. And so with this, I've come to an end of the presentation. And so what I'm trying to say is you should have a comprehensive data management system where it would help you to cleanse your data, integrate your data, and kind of help you to consume the reports or analysis in a correct way. That is, at the end of the day, we must be confident that the report, what I'm seeing gives me the correct data. The analysis, what I'm looking at, it gives me the correct information. So once you have a comprehensive data management solution, so it is a must for a one-room physician to a 100-bedded hospital or a 250-bedded hospital or a large hospital. The data management. So with respect to the size, your data management solution will also depend. So Excel is part of the data management solution. It cannot replace an HMS. It cannot replace any software, nor any other application can replace. So it has to coexist. So Excel has to coexist with the other tools. It can work with Tally, it can work with your HMS, it can work with your payroll management system. Okay? So now let's get into the demonstration. So are there any questions? Is my speed correct? So I'd like to take a quick feedback if you have any. Any questions? Fine. So take it as we'll go to the demonstration. I hope my Excel screen is visible now, everybody. Okay, fine. So Excel, we are not going to get into the very basics of Excel. So I'm sure some of you would have kind of used Excel for different purposes. So Excel is basically a spreadsheet tool. And when I say spreadsheet, it is divided into rows and columns. There are multiple sheets. You can manage quite a number of volumes of data in Excel. And it is basically a number crunching tool, but it can do quite a lot of other things. And the look and feel of Excel, it has changed from its version, but the features has kind of 90% of the features have remained the same for the last 25 years. And it's more than sufficient for us to for doing the basic data management. And there are a lot of these are called ribbons: home, insert, page layout, specific set of features or club together for us to, get it in one shot. And so we have the sheet here. So I'm going to take this data, which is a dummy data. It has been populated just for the lecture. It is not taken out of any hospital or not it has been populated specifically for giving the demonstration. And so first we're going to focus on the analysis part, how Excel is going to help us in doing the analysis. And before doing the analysis, we need to understand the data. As I told you, garbage in, garbage out. The quality of output depends on the quality of input. So what is the type of input we have? So there are 9 columns in this data. And so columns are numbered as in the alphabets, and the rows are numbered in the numerics. And when you want in Excel, if you want to go to the last cell, just double click on just place it anywhere and then double click. Okay, it goes to the last cell. And there are certain features, if you're going to demonstrate, if you don't follow, don't worry, I'm going to give you these files, set of questions, you're going to practice. You can come back to me anytime if you have any doubt. So don't worry about, if you're not able to grasp any point, absolutely don't worry about that. Over a period of time, once you start practicing with your own data, then the concepts will be clear. The way to use the tool will also be clear. And so you have these data. So the first column is the patient number and the specialty, which says different specialties, the date, the city, the country, the revenue from the patient for that particular specialty, the gender of the patient, the age, and the average length of stay. All these data may not be correct because these are all being populated. So it could be ALOS to be 2, 3, or 10, or 2, 15, or 20. These are all some kind of populated data. So when you look at the data, this is continuous. When I say continuous, there are no empty rows. It is a continuous set of data. There are no empty columns. All the columns are rightly titled. So in Excel, there could be 3 types of data. One could be a number, one could be a date, or could be a text. So when you look at it, this is a text. Even though it's alphanumeric, it's a text, because in Excel, dates and numbers are always right justified. The text is always left justified. So you could see the difference. So that's an indication. And for any data, once you've imported, so when you look at this data, this is absolutely cleansed. This is beautifully presented. There are no kind of missing data. There are no missing values, and everything is categorized nicely. When I look at a filter has been applied. So it's there in the home. So apply filter, a filter. Once the filter is applied, you get this drop down button. When you look at it, so you have these patient numbers. Everything is kind of visible. It's not sorted because it's in a alphanumeric. It takes the first letter as to sort it. Specialty, when you look at the filter, there are 3 specialties and the other category: cardiology, neurosurgery, and orthopedics. The date, since it's a date, Excel automatically deducts that it's a date, and it beautifully arranges in a hierarchical way. That is, you have the year, you have the month, and you have the dates. So you can filter, and then probably if you want to look at only my 2014 data, or I'm just okay. So filters are basically help you to filter the data, look at the way, the number of rows you want to look. City, of course, you have different cities. So before doing any analysis, there cannot be spelling mistakes. Excel cannot differentiate between Chennai if you leave one N and a Chennai. So definitely you have to, that's what I say, cleansing the data and then validating the data. So all these things your HMS should take care. So when the data is entered in your HMS about a patient or anything, the Excel, the HMS should be able to correct the data at the input level itself. And the country, you have 4 countries from India, from Malaysia, from Nepal, and from Oman. So these are the patient demographics. There are no kind of spelling mistakes in that. The revenue, So it starts with 1,50,000 and goes up to 7,41,000. These are so some kind of rough. So there is not something in crores. So if you have any data like that, the filters would help you to identify that. You will be able to identify the outliners. There is nothing. Gender, there are two genders, male and female. Of course, there is third gender, fine. So for this data, we just take the two genders. Age, we've taken patients from 52 years to 94 years. And the ALOS, the average length of stay, it starts with 3 and goes up to minimum is 3 days, maximum is 16 days. So this is the data we have to start. So the key to any good analysis is understanding the data. So by the look of the data, you should be able to tell what I can do, what I cannot do. So with this data, probably I can look at various patterns, various kind of analysis, which would help me to answer a few questions. Let's get into the questions. My first question, which is the top 2 revenue earning department across all years? Which is the top 2 revenue earning departments across all years? So to answer this question, in Excel, there is a feature called pivot. So pivot is one of the most powerful features. So if you can master pivot, if you can understand pivot, that is, if you practice for a week, you can definitely master pivot. There is nothing, complex about pivot. So just like you have the compass, and then it kind of the needle is stationed and pivots around. So it is like a kaleidoscope where you will be able to see different patterns the way you want to look at it. So we're going to use pivot table to answer these questions. So there are a lot of questions. It has been carefully done to look at various features and to explain what Excel can do, like which is the top 2 revenue earning department, which is the year, what is the year-wise total number of patients, what is the total revenue and the number of patients from 2011 to 2015. So let's try to answer these questions one by one. So to start with, just keep your Excel cell in the current cell in any of these data, and you can start doing pivot. So it's Excel. It's not like you have to start with lesson 1, lesson 2, chapter 1. No, you can start anyway. So at any given point of time, if you're the first time user of Excel, you can even start working with pivot even today. So you don't have to. There is no prerequisites. You just have to basically understand the data. So I say insert pivot table. So once I do that, so you could see these dotted lines, the moving dotted lines. So it says select a table or range. It says understand data, which is the sheet name, $A, $1 to $1578. So that is we saw the total number of rows was 1,578. Okay, that is selected. That's what this particular dialog box tells us. Choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed. Where do you want the analysis to be? It's a new worksheet, and say, okay, this is the simple thing. Once you have the data, it will select it automatically, and say okay. Fine. So now you have it gives you what is called as a pivot table layout. So what is my first question? My first question is, which is the top 2 revenue earning department across all years? Okay, this is my sheet, top 2 revenue. So what I need to do is, this is my revenue. You had the revenue column. So this is a question related to the revenue. I drag the revenue and then drop it onto the values. Okay, pivot gives you 4 options. The values, columns, rows, and filters. We'll understand that. So this is my total revenue, but top 2 specialties, I drag the specialty and to the rows. So this is my specialty wise revenue, and so you have cardiology, neurosurgery, orthopedics, and this is the total sum of revenue. So since this is a revenue, I can click this. Excel gives you in the home, it gives you a lot of formatting options. So I'm going to format this as a currency so that it represents better. Okay. So it comes in rupee values. And the top two. Okay. So I select this button. You have something called as value filters. Top 10. I just select the, make it to top 2. So out of 4 departments, my cardiology and others. So of course, this is others. All other departments are coming in one. So these 2 are my top revenue earning departments, or it could be, I'll just say value filters, top 3. Okay. So you have cardiology, neurosurgery. So you can take it. So this is my answer to the question. So you could have 1,500 rows, but pivot table helps you to analyze it, summarize it the way you want to do it. And yeah, this is my answer. So my first question is answered. So I repeat. So I'm going to give you some practice sessions. So don't worry about the steps. Make mistakes and learn. So you're not going to lose any data. So we answered the first question. The second question: what is the year-wise total number of patients? Year-wise total number of patients. So this report is done. I'm not going to create one more pivot. I'm going to copy this. So copy this. I'm just going to select it. Do a Control-C. In Excel, if you learn shortcut keys, you'll be able to do it faster and quicker. So I've just said Control-C, and I'm going to paste it here. Paste the X. And in Excel, when you see some columns are hidden, what you do is you just take your mouse pointer between the columns and then double click it. It will automatically adjust to the width of the common column, the highest length of the column. Just double click on the border. Just double click, I repeat. It was like this. I just double click between F and G so that it's visible. These 2 tables are absolutely similar. What I want is, so this is my kind of maneuvering space. So now this is not related to specialty. So I drag the specialty, I click, drag the specialty out, and then simply drag the date. Simply, the question is year-wise, but I'm going to, the data has date-wise data. When you look at the data, it is date-wise, 22nd January, 28th April, right? So when you do that, because it was formatted as date, Excel understands as the date, it gives you the hierarchical structure, 2011, 12, 13. So this is my answer to the question. So this is the sum of revenue for the year-wise data. So when I expand, I get quarter. When I expand the quarter, I get the month, right? So that is the beauty of pivots. So I've got the answer, year-wise revenue. And when I drag and drop the revenue here, it has automatically taken the function called sum because it's a numeric value. Because it's a numeric value, I've dragged the revenue and then dropped into the values. It has automatically taken the function which is sum. So when I click here, you have an option called value field settings. When I go inside, you have the option of different functions. So for this question, only the sum makes sense. So let it be like this. Don't worry about the other things. Fine. So I just do a cancel. So this has answered my second question. The first question, second question. What is my third question? What is the total revenue and the number of patients from 2011 to 2014? So now there are 2 questions. What is the total revenue and total number of patients from 2011 to 2000? So there is a filter which is also being applied here. Fine. So 2011 to 14, the sum of the revenue as well as the number. So here, this gives me year, quarters, and date. So I just only need the years. So I'll just drag the quarters out, drag the date out. I have only the years. That's one. And what I need is the count of patients. Now I drag the patient, put it onto the values. So now I get count of patients because it's a text field. Patient is a alphanumeric text field. I get the count of patients. So count of patients and the sum of revenue for these years, but I want it only from 2011 to 14. I don't want 2015. So here I just take the 2015 out. I click here, do the filtering here. So now the third question is also answered. So this is my revenue. This is my patient. So this gives you these titles are changeable. You can even change it to a different, more relevant title for the report. Number of patients and the revenue. It is already exists. Let's just say that. Okay. So this is my third question. The year, number of patients, and then so there are 328 patients, 403, 365, 365. Okay. And when I take 2015 also, it gives me the number. It says 1577. When I go to the data and then go to the last, it says 1577. So the data is, the analysis is correct, but there is a hidden trick or a hidden data point here. That is, in this 1577, it just counts, but it does not give you the unique patients visits. Okay, because that could be one patient who would have come for more than twice. Okay, so we need to identify that. Okay, that's fine. I'll leave that for a later date. So this is the number of patients and the revenue. So the three questions are answered. The fourth one, revenue from neurosurgery outside India. Okay, revenue from neurosurgery outside India. So what I do, I can again copy this table, paste it here. Okay. So the question is revenue from neurosurgery. So we have used the rows here. See, the difference between rows and columns are quite interchangeable. I can drag the specialty, put it in columns. Instead of row-wise display, it's going to do column-wise. So always it is easier to understand row-wise. So so if there are two dimensions, I can do it in the columns. So when I say dimension, there are two things in analysis which you need to understand. I go to the data back. Okay. Dimension and fact. Fact or numbers. So what are the fact columns here? So with which I'm going to do the pivot. So that is the center point. It could be revenue. Revenue is a fact. That's the most critical fact. Every other column is a dimension. That is, I can look at revenue patient-wise. I can look at specialty-wise. I can look at date-wise. I can look at city-wise. I can look at country-wise. I can look at gender-wise. I can look at age-wise. Even though age is a number, but you're not going to, add the ages. That doesn't make any sense. So you can have a report where you can look at age-wise revenue or ALOS. ALOS, it's also a fact. So these two things are fact. So when you're working in the pivot, the dimension fields comes in the rows, columns, or filters. The facts comes in the values. With which you're going to do the pivot, that comes in the values. Fine. Or if you're not kind of getting a concept of fact and dimension, you can leave it over a period of time, you will understand it. So my question is specialty. So now I'm dragging the specialty in filters. Okay. Selecting only neurosurgery. Fine. And what is my other question? Outside India. So for that, I can drag the country again in filter. In country, I'll just leave out India. So I drag the country again in filter. I just leave out. So this is my revenue from neurosurgery outside India. Okay, that's the question. So we've answered this question too, which is 72,21,989. So we have answered the first question, which is the specialty wise revenue, with second question, which is year 2011 to 2014, what is my number of patients and the revenue earned. Okay, let's go to the Fifth question. Compare cardiology and neurosurgery revenue for the year 2015. So I'll take this table, copy it somewhere. Okay, so cardiology and neurosurgery, I don't need orthopedics and others. Leave that out. So you have the revenue, and this is for the year. So this is for the year 2015. So I'm going to drag the date, put it in filter. Just insert, and here this is just drag the years. So Pivot will automatically distribute the dates with respect to years, quarters, and days. Drag the years in 2011. Fine. So in 2011, this is my cardiology revenue. This is my neurosurgery revenue. So initially I was telling the difference between reports and analysis. Reports is something which you need to wait. It is, you cannot ask further questions and then drill down. So, but here I can drill down. With this, so suddenly I feel that, okay, 2011, my neurosurgery is down. I want to compare it with the other years. I don't want to stop it only with, 2011. I drag the years, put it onto the columns. Okay, now I get all the years. So you could see the columns and rows. What I will do is I'll just interchange the years to the row and specialty to the columns, because always you have the lesser number of categories in the columns, because here you have only 2 categories, cardiology and neurosurgery, but here years you have 5. So I'll just do an interchange, drag the years, drag the specialty. Now it is a 2-dimensional report. So you could usually compare. So neurosurgery 2011 it is down, but 2012 it has overtaken cardiology. 2013-14 it's a similar thing, and even 15. Okay. 15 you don't have full months data. So with which you can kind of drill down. This is called a drilling down in the analysis. You can go further down till you get an answer. So seeing this report, probably you can ask one more question. Fine, why my neurosurgery for these 2 years, why there is a difference in neurosurgery. So you could see cardiology it's almost the same, but there is a spike in neurosurgery. Okay, I want to ask more questions about this. So what I will do, I want to drill down. I want to really understand why the neurosurgery has gone up from 1,74,000 to 4,12,000. Again, copy this, or I'll probably place it down. Okay, so specialty, I'm just worried about only neurosurgery. So I just drag it in the filter column. Take only neurosurgery. Okay, so I'm interested only in the first 2 years, 2011 and 12. I'm not interested in the other parts. Difference here. Why? What are the other dimensions you have? You have country-wise dimension. So you could see, do a pivot and see, is it because of the countries my neurosurgery revenue has gone up? Okay, you have India here. So I'll just, there's only India. There is no revenue from any other country. So so when you look at the data, all are selected. There is no revenue from any other country. So I'll just drag the this one out. And probably I'll just look at gender. Okay. So gender wise also it's equally distributed. That's fine. I'll look at age now. I'll have the age here and the years here. Fine. So age, when you drag the age, Okay, it's going to give you for each and every age. But I don't click on this. Go to, once you do the pivot, you will get the additional tab, additional tool in Excel. So click on analyze. You can group it. You can group the age with 5 incremental things like this. So select on group selection, age 52 to 94, minimum and maximum by 5 years. Let us see the, okay. So when you look at it, there is a sudden spike in the age group of 57 to 62, and 62 to 67 there is a big jump. Okay, there is a big jump here from 38 lakhs to 1 crore, 38 lakhs to 1 crore 10. So what I will do is I can further, so 5 group selection, I'll make it to 10. Oh, this is the reason for the jump, because the age group between 52 and 62 and even 62 to 72 has gone up dramatically, whereas 72 to 82 is, it's also gone up a bit. 82 to 92 has come down. So this is an example of drilling down. That is, you start with one question, drill down the data till you get an answer. The pivot or analysis can help you do that. Okay, hope you were able to understand this. So I've taken a neurosurgery thing and kind of drilled down. See the difference between 2011-12, there was a big jump. The reason for the jump, we just first tried with the country, there was no difference. We tried with gender, there was no difference. But age, there was a difference. So this was my focus. Further, you can drill down and understand why there is a sudden switch. So that is the beauty of analysis and pivot. Okay. So we have answered this question too. Fine. I'd like to stop here, and if you have any doubts. Any doubts, sir? We'll move on then. So come. So this is another question. Which specialty gives me more revenue per patient across all years? Which specialty gives me more revenue per patient across all years? So when you look at this question, the specialty is a dimension, gives me more revenue per patient, which is nothing but an average, which is a fact across all years, which is a dimension. So there are 2 dimensions, year and specialty, and the revenue is a fact. So let's try to answer this particular question. So I copy this, Control C and Control V. Fine. So you want all the departments. So I'll remove the value filters here. Cardiology, neurosurgery, orthopedics, you have 4 departments. This is the revenue across all years. The question is average revenue per patient. So what I can do is, from the sum of revenue, I can go to value field settings. Instead of sum, I can click the average. Okay, instead of sum, I repeat, instead of sum, value field settings, instead of sum, I click the average. So now I get the average. So orthopedics is low, cardiology, neurosurgery, others is also more. So these 2 departments. So of course, it's the cardiology which gives me more revenue per patient. And so what pivot can do is you can do a lot of, and if you have somebody to assist you, it's not that you have to work on pivot to know, unless and until it's confidential. If you've mastered pivot, definitely you can do it by yourself. With practice, as I told you, it's going to come as a second nature. But you can also have somebody to assist you who has a bit of number crunching knowledge, can kind of help you out with all these kind of nice analysis. So this is my average patient revenue. Cardiology is more. Okay. Next, the other question. What is the revenue generated from patients of age range 57 to 62, and which specialty is more in that range? So what is the revenue generated from patients of age range 57 to 62? Which special? So probably you're asking this question. Probably if you are going to plan probably a marketing campaign, so you want to target only 57 to 62 age group patients or 57 to 75 age group patient, things like that. So for getting some clarity, this answer can help you. What is the revenue generated from patients of age range 57 to 62? Which specialty is more in that range across all years, of course? Okay. So what I will do, I'll again, okay, we have this, fine, which we already, or I'll repeat it. Copy this. You can even generate new pivot for all the new questions. So you have the specialty. I'll just drag the specialty to the column wise. So let it give column wise report. You have for cardiology, neurosurgery, orthopedics, you have the answer here. Drag the age, put it on here. So once you do that, since the grouping is done, okay, it is giving a age group in 10 years, 52 to 62, but we want for 5 years. So I click on pivot table tools, analyze, group selection, change it to 5. Okay, it's kind of overlapping, so probably delete it. Here it's instead of years, drag this out, drag the specialty. I'm going to compare specialty and age. So I'll select all, analyze, group selection, change the difference to 5. So what is my question? What is the revenue generated from patients of age range 57 to 62? Which specialty is more in that range? 57 to 62. So this is my revenue generated. And which specialty is more? So this others, which is 3 crore 47 lakhs 45,000. So this is the answer for the question. So you can drill down. So, and suddenly you're seeing this, and instead of this total revenue, you want to see the average. What is my average for these specialties for these age groups? So I go click this value field settings, select the sum function as average instead of sum. Okay. So this is my average. It's more or less the same. Okay. So this question is also answered. Number of male patients from Chennai in the year 2013. Number of male patients from Chennai from the year 2013. So here, when you look at, there are 3 dimensions. The gender is a dimension, city is a dimension, year is a dimension. What is a fact? The number of patients. Fact is number of patients, which is a number. So that number is categorized by city, gender, and year. So go back here. Take this. Paste it. So specialty is not related to, this question is not related to specialty. So city, I'll put it in the filter. Select Chennai. And year, drag the year, the filter, 2013. Number of male patients. So now drag the gender. Okay, probably when you look at the data, just do selecting 2013 and then the city. Okay, there is no data for the Chennai city in 2013. So probably I'll change the city to Madurai instead of Chennai. So I'll select Madurai. So this is the answer. So you have, this is the revenue generated by male patients from Madurai in 2013. So this is a three-dimensional report. You have the city, years, and gender. So you have the city and years in the filter, and the gender here, and the sum of revenue. Find out an outlier in terms of revenue in orthopedic revenue. What is an outliner? Outliner is data is not falling in a range. That could say, for example, you could have a series of number 1 to 10, and suddenly 15 is going to crop out. That's an outliner. So in terms of revenue. So what is an outliner here? So for orthopedics, you can even go to the raw data and then find it. You can even do a pivot and then find it. So to find an outliner in orthopedics, I'll copy this, drag the specialty in filters. So I'm going to look at I'm going to select only the orthopedics. Okay. Now, for a change, I'll drag the revenue to the rows. I'll drag the revenue, even though it's a number, I'm dragging to the rows. I'm going to get some funny figure here. So now we have it in rows. When you look at it, so this is an outliner where you have, and I also drag the number of patients to the revenue. So you have 3 patients who paid 1,50,000. You have 388 patients because there's a standard package pricing, probably 1,60,000. And you have 1 patient who has paid 3,20,000. Okay. So you have 1 patient who was paid 3,20,000. And when you're working in pivot, if you get these kind of outliners, when you want to look at the data, when you want to go back, instead of doing the filter, you can just double click here. Just double click on the cell here. It will open up a sheet and then show you which patient. It will just filter out and then show you in a different sheet. This is patient number A106 who was coming in 16/4/2011 from Chennai, and he has paid, 3,20,000 instead of a normal the average fee of 1,60,000. So this is how you find out an outlier. You drag the number into the rows, and then probably, if required, do a grouping and then get the outliner. On which day I get maximum revenue? Okay, this question I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give you the file. Probably you can try it out. Okay, you're going to try out all the questions in the Excel sheet, and I'm going to share this particular file at the end of the class, so you can practice it out. Fine. So I've come to the end of the pivot explanation. So, and the other part about pivot is you can even kind of format these tables. You can go to design. And format it the way you want. Okay, if you want the certain style to be applied or whatever it is. So pivot, you can do that. And so these are all readily available in pivot table tools. Once pivot, click on that, you can go and change it. And pivot will also help you to do some slicing. Okay, in pivot table analyze, you have what is called as an insert slicer. Click the slicer. Okay, I'm going to insert a slicer which is for the specialty. Okay, and say okay. So you have all these pivot table here. Okay, you have 2011, 12 cardiology year, sum of revenue for neurosurgery and things like that. You have certain pivots at the bottom, average revenue, the age, and things like that. Okay, so this is a slicer which has been introduced, which floats around in the pivot table report. So I'm going to select neurosurgery. Okay, and once you do that, okay, the pivot will automatically filter out all the tables. Okay, probably this is better explained. We'll take a chart and then, you know, try working on a data. Fine. So I'll just take the filter out. So in this data, we have not touched upon ALOS at all. Whatever pivot questions, whatever questions we ask, it's all about the patient, the city or a country, or you know, various other forms. And so let us take up this ALOS and generate a chart out of that. Okay? And then let's make the chart interactive too. Okay? For this, I'll just do one more pivot. I repeat the steps, insert, pivot table. It's going to select the boundaries here, new worksheet, and say okay. Fine. So I'm going to drag the ALOS values here. When I drag the ALOS, you cannot take the sum of ALOS. You cannot sum, because when you look at the data, the number of the average length of stay, this length of stay for this particular patient is 4 days. So I cannot take the sum. It makes no sense at all. So it has to be average. So I'll just take the value field settings, change it to average, and give some funny decimal points. I'll just remove the decimal points, go to home. Okay. This is the average length of stay for all patients, for all years, for all specialties. So what is my question? Specialty and year wise. So I drag the specialty to the rows. So it's going to give me the average length of stay for different specialty. Then I also drag. Okay, so I have this. I'll save the year. So now pivot also, Excel also gives you a lot of visual representation. I can build charts. So from this, I go to insert, and then I'll be inserting a chart. So let me probably take up a simple 2D chart. Change the title, right click, move chart to a different sheet. I'll call it as ALOS chart, ALOS dashboard. Say okay. So now I have this. Right click, I'll say add data labels. So I have the points to home. I'll just increase. Don't worry about these steps. Don't worry about it. I'm just letting you know what are the things that can be possible with Excel. Don't worry about, you know, going through the steps. So I have these numbers here. Cardiology, neurosurgery, ALOS is more. Orthopedics and others. And let's just give some nice design look and feel for the charts. I'll just probably take this. And then yeah, I have this one. Now I have the specialty and neurosurgery. So the best part about the pivot and charting is the chart is also interactive. It is not just the number which you're looking at. So the number format, make it 80, so it's visible. So you have these ALOS, and I'll drag the years. Fine. So it gives me two options here. So I have the years as well as the features. So in 2011, it's blue color. So cardiology, it's 7. And 2012, so I can even interchange this. I'll just drag the specialty to the legend and years to here. It's readability is better. So 2011, my cardiology departments, urology. So it's the pattern is somewhat similar. So the chart, this becomes an interactive dashboard for you. This becomes an interactive dashboard where you can kind of manipulate and work around this. So now I have cardiology, sorry, for the specialty and the year. I just want to add the gender. Let's do that. And I want to look at only male patients. I don't want, or I want to look at country, drag the country into the filter. So now I have different countries here, drag it. I select only Malaysia. Okay. So Malaysia, because there are patients from Malaysia only in the year 2014. So that's why you have 2014 here, the year. And you have different specialty. So cardiology, neuro. So you can play around with this. Instead of Malaysia, I can change it to Nepal. So there is 1 day increase in Nepal, right? So now what I will do, I'll add this dimension. I'll take the years to the filters, drag the country to the axis. So now you have India, Malaysia, Nepal, and Oman. And the average length of stay for other departments is 1 day more when compared to India. And even for orthopedics, it is 1 day more. And even for cardiology, it's 888, whereas for India, it's 7. So with this comparison, you can visually make out a lot of things. So this is a pre-built dashboard which you can use it for using to compare ALOS. So, and the best part is interactive. The best part is interactive. And if you want to make a presentation of this, you can just copy the chart, paste it in PowerPoint too, and use it for, and you can make a permanent link where any changes you do, it gets reflected in the PowerPoint slide too. So we have 3 dimensions. We have the year, specialty, country, and we are looking at ALOS. So this is a nice dashboard. So the numbers may look very elementary, and say if you're not comfortable with this type of chart, I can change the chart type too. Okay, I'll change it to probably, I'll change it to a pie chart. The pie does not make any difference here. Probably a line chart. Okay, so line is always over a period of time. So line, you cannot have the country's line should be, the trend line should always have the period column in the x-axis. Okay, the period column should always come in the x-axis. Otherwise, it makes so. For the years I have 2011 to 2015, and I'm going to look at only India. Fine, and I'm not going to take any specialty. I'll just drag the specialty out. I'm going to see for all the patients. Drag the specialty out. So this is, I'll change the white color of the font. So every component can be edited. So this is my average length of stay for India, 6, 6, and 6, and 6. And that is in the sense, sorry. Yeah. So we can have we can change the chart type to. Again, so you use the pie chart for the percentage comparison. So now I'll just take another pivot which has been done. Okay, probably, yeah, this one. And then do a chart for this. Click, insert, do a pie chart. Right click, move the chart to a new sheet. Fine. So I'll just add the right table, data table labels. Okay. So the pie, it works well when you want to compare the percentage. So this is my the distribution. So for that, it makes a lot of sense. pie chart. So for simple comparison, bar chart is the best. For any time series comparison, line chart is the best option. So this is, you can have these kind of interactive dashboards. So if you don't want the specialty, drag the country. You know, this is my country-wise distribution: India, Malaysia, Nepal, and Oman. And I want to look at it for one single year, probably for year 2014. Okay, so that's changed. So everything is kind of interactive, and you can easily manipulate it. Fine. So we saw the pivots, the power of analysis, and we saw the chart with dashboards and metrics. So you can have this dashboard done, keep it as a metric. Whatever dashboards which has been done, you can do this. You can change the format to bar. That makes more sense. Change the. Okay. Now, say Excel is it's a quite a comprehensive and an exhaustive tool, and sorry, it will take probably, you can even have a class 1 full week, 8 hours a day to look at the features. So I picked up a few things which could be useful in your day-to-day management. So you're not comfortable with pivot, you want to answer simple questions with functions. There are 580 functions, different functions Excel offers. And so again, I repeat, you will be very busy in your clinical activities. You don't have to practice or master Excel. But if you know these things are possible, you can ask your assistants or your department heads or whoever is handling it to do a report or analysis for you. Okay. What is the total revenue earned by neurosurgery across all years? So this, we did it with pivot, but I'm going to use a function called SUMIF. I'm going to use a function called SUMIF to do that. So what is the total revenue earned by neurosurgery across all years? I go here. So I'm going to write this function. So every function in Excel will start with a equal to sign, equal to sum. If you sum, if it kind of matches a condition, the range, criteria, and sum range. These are all the 3 parameters. The range, don't include the title for the range. The range which has to match the condition, which is nothing but the specialty. So it starts with B2 colon B1577. That's the full range. So Excel gives you a blue color indicator for the range, B2 to B77. What is the criteria? My criteria is neurosurgery. Neurosurgery. So since it's a text, I give within the double quotes. So take the data from BT to B1577, which matches the condition neurosurgery. What is the sum range? What is that you want to do with the other column? My sum range is F2 to F1577. So take this column, match the condition, and take the revenue column, and then use that to add the revenue, sum the revenue. So this is my answer for neurosurgery. So when you look at the neurosurgery revenue, this is the answer. So if I'm going to change it to probably to others, changes. So we can, it's a simple thing. A SUMIF, I repeat, equal to SUMIF of B2 to B, this one, range, the criteria, and the sum range. If you're using the functions for the first time, what I would suggest is you type the function in. Always start with the equal to sign. Go to formulas. There is an option called insert function. So here it gives you a dialog box. You don't have to worry about the parameters. It will ask you for the range. It will ask you for the criteria. It will ask you for the sum range. So you please enter in this particular dialog box so that you don't get confused. So like this you can do for any function. So this is the SUMIF function, which has 3 arguments. Based on one particular column's data criteria, we take one more column, do a sum of that particular column. So in this case, we take the others, specialty, and then sum the revenue. This is sum if. Count if. The total number of patients from Malaysia. Simple question. What is my total number of patients from Malaysia? So instead of sum if, I'm going to use the count if, equal to count if of the range, which is the country here, which is E. E2 to E1577, comma, Malaysia. Make sure there is no spelling mistake in this. And then enter. So my total number of patients from Malaysia is 10. I've got 10 patients from Malaysia. That's what it says. I repeat, count if, just like sum if, sum is going to sum, count is going to count with an if condition. Okay? E2 colon E1577, and the criteria is Malaysia. Okay, look up. What is the revenue from a patient number 1A136? I just want to get the revenue for this particular patient. I'm not worried about sum, count, and all. I just want to look at this. For this, we'll use a function called VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is a very, very powerful function where it takes one value, compare in a full range, and then returns another value. So from another column, we use a function called VLOOKUP, equal to VLOOKUP of, what is my lookup value? My lookup value is A136. A136. What is my table? This is my table, right? So select this table, and then I want the revenue. So you can probably stop with this. I don't want to include the gender, age, and ALOS. And then I have to give the full range, 1577. Okay. So it selects the full range, and Excel gives you a blue indicator, gives you a blue indicator, comma, column index number. From which column you want to return the value from. This is in the first column, the patient number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Return the value from the sixth column, matching the condition A136. Let's see. So it gives me 267003. So it gives me 267003. So when you look at it, A136. Oh. Yeah, there's occurred 2 times. So the value is, I can even change it for a different number. So VLOOKUP, it takes the value, and then from the first takes the value. I go to insert function here, lookup value. My lookup value is A136, table array, A2 colon A1 colon F1577, the full range, column index number 6, because 1, 2, 3, 4, my return value is in the column 6. The range lookup is false. It takes an exact match. If you leave that, it's going to give you an approximate value. So always have the range lookup as false. So it's give me the value 3,20,004. So I'll just change A136 to 22. So now give me 1,60,000. So VLOOKUP is a very powerful function. We saw sum if, count if, and the VLOOKUP. Yeah. Now I'll do the other question. Okay, it's a simple one. Give 10% discount for female patients from other countries. Okay, I'll just take the first part. Give 10% discount for female patients. Then let's do the other part. Okay, I'm going to give a 10% discount for female patients. So I just say discount. I'll create a column for this. And here I need to do a formula and then apply it for all. I can't be doing it for, there are 1,500 rows here. So I'm going to use a function called if. I'll start with if G2 equal to F. If G2 is, gender is female, then you give a 10% discount. Just what you do is just apply the simple formula, 10% or 0.1 into the revenue. Else, there is no discount, which is 0. If it's a male patient, there's no discount. Okay, it's a 0. So if you want to copy, just double click on the plus symbol here. The formula gets copied. So when you look at it, there are only male patients till now. Okay. So I repeat, equal to if G2 equal to F, if it is equals F, and again do an insert function. The logical test is if it's equal to F. Yeah, G2 equal to F. Yeah. Finish this. If G2 is equal to F, then true value. If value is true, then 0.1 into F2. So it's going to give a discount of 10% whenever there is a female function. This is a simple if condition. So there are close to 580 functions in Excel. So again, I repeat, you don't have to know all the functions. There are simple things like VLOOKUPs and COUNTIF, SUMIF. If you know all these functions, the data manipulation or data kind of analysis or reporting becomes a lot more easier. So we saw pivot, we saw the dashboards, and we saw the function view. And there are quite a lot of other functions, but I'm not going to get into the other functions. The last 15 minutes, I would like to, throw open to question and answers. If you have specific questions in data management in Excel, I can answer that. Now, let's move away from Excel. We will. Let's just take a dashboard example. Let me just share the screen. Just give me a minute. Sharing my screen here. Yeah, hope the screen is visible. Fine. This is a dashboard which has been built with the same set of data. It's exactly the same what we saw in Excel. So this, you can even, if you want to build a dashboard, you can connect it to the HMS and then build. So this is a dashboard which probably you can look at it every day. The parameters, what you want to look depends on what you want. So this is my total revenue. Where it comes from gives me a visual display. It gives me the revenue by specialty, cardiology, neurosurgery is more, and it gives me year-wise. The best part is if I click 2014 or 2011, I get revenue only from India. So everything else changes. This is my total revenue for 2011. And when I click 2012, so the revenue is, when I click 2014, everything changes. The age, this is the average age of the patient, average revenue of the patient. And this is my, this is where the revenue has come from. So this is what is called as a dashboard, where it's absolutely interactive. What we did in, Pivot, you have it visually also here. So this can be easily built with the set of data, but you need to have the correct set of data. The data set is very essential. Data collection, data cleansing, data validation. If all these three things are set in place, this can be built according to your, this can be customized. This is called as a Power BI tool, which would help you to do that. And I'll just do for all years now. So I got it. And the best part about this dashboard is it's also interactive. That is, in the sense, I can ask questions. Just like the questions what we asked in Pivot, I can ask questions. So this can be done for you, for your hospital, and this can be displayed in a mobile phone. You can kind of see these things in your mobile phone. There is a Power BI app. You can download and then see it. You can configure it. You can see it. You don't have to depend on HMS. You don't have to depend on any of the other tools. So I'm going to ask a question. Give me country-wise revenue pie chart. Okay. So this is going to give me country-wise revenue. When I type the question, I get the chart here. You don't have to lift a finger, drag, drop, understand anything. So these are all intuitively built. So country-wise revenue. So I get Nepal, Oman, and Kuala Lumpur. I get India. So I change this to specialty wise revenue. So this is specialty wise revenue. Immediately I get a chart: cardiology, others, neurosurgery, orthopedics, and I had one more year wise. So when I get a chart when I type on a browser. So I get 2011. This is my orthopedics, because 2015 the data is not fully populated. So my neurosurgery has gone up in 2012. 2011 this was, so this is how intuitive. And as an hospital owner, you don't have to look at so much of data. This is what you should see at a very broad level. And if you say, if there is a spike, as we saw, you can further drill down. This is if it's in the same, if it's the curve is similar, that's fine. But if there is a spike or a dip, you can focus more on that, right? So this is a dashboard which has been built with the same data, and it gives you a lot of beautiful chart. So you can ask any number of questions with the combinations. You can ask gender-wise, what is my gender-wise revenue? With specialty. So this is for male, female, and specialty. Orthopedics, there is no female patients. I had here. So I can even get a table. So any hospital, large, medium, small, these kind of dashboards can be built. And what it does is it helps you to manage, just like the others, the slide which I told you, what you cannot measure, you cannot monitor. What you cannot monitor, you cannot improve. So you can kind of decide which are all the critical components. It's your own data which you have to look at it. So what I will do is I've done a demonstration. I don't want to kind of do more demonstration and confuse you, because it takes a bit of time if you're not used to Excel and data management to kind of apply it. I'm going to send you some practice files. I'll go back to the presentation and then just redo the slides. Now that you've seen the demonstration, probably you'll be able to relate it better when I go through the slides one by one. So I'll just go back to my slide, quickly summarize for 2-3 minutes, then I'll ask you, and then I'll go for questions. So why Excel? Number crunching, data cleansing integration, what if analysis, KPIs, forecasting, data visualization. So we saw something about data visualization. We saw something about KPIs. So something about analysis. And it's a double-edged sword. You should know what to use. Suppose if there is a simple in the patient data, what we saw, instead of 1,60,000, if one additional zero is added in that particular cell, then every analysis goes for a 6. So there are ways we can lock the cells. So security is again very critical. Single version of truth. Every department has to look at the same data, same file, and ultimately you should ask the right questions. You don't have to use the tool on a day-to-day basis, but you should ask the right question for you to get the right answer. Different questions. We just saw a few examples of that. Ultimately, it's going to help you to make the right decisions. This is the core problem. That is my data. I can't find it. I can understand. I can use it. I can correlate it together because it's all in silos. Operations, finance, patient. They don't talk to each other. So it is in different silos. Again, you're dependent on the vendor or the in-house IT team. Could be data about your patients, infrastructure, materials, finance, or employees. So ultimately, you give life to your data, make all the corrections, connect the dots, and make sure you have a nice pattern, nice analysis done out of it. So understand the data is the fundamental basic layer. It's like the foundation of a building. That has to be absolutely strong. When I say strong, it has to be cleansed, no repetition, no mistakes. The data gathering procedures have to be clear. Reports are one-dimensional. You can just look at the number of patients per day or things like that. Analysis, we saw a detailed example of pivots using the analysis. And analytics, it's looking forward. So with this data, I have 5 years of data. Can you predict what could be my patient, from which specialty I'll get more patients in 2015 or 16? With the right set of data, if your business falls in a pattern, if you ask the right questions, it is definitely possible. There are tools available to do that. So you have to measure. What you don't measure cannot be improved upon. So having KPIs, metrics, and dashboards are critical to the function. So when it comes to financial planning, you should have financial metrics and financial dashboards. Know the boundaries. Excel cannot answer all the questions. So you have to work with your team, understand what is possible. Excel can work with different applications like HMS, like Tally or whatever it is. Collect data, correlate it, and then you can build nice dashboards like this. So revenue analysis, patient demographics, payroll, project planning, clinical research, inventory management, ALOS, operations. So there are quite a lot of things which can be done with Excel. You can go beyond this also. So the comprehensive data management solution is absolutely essential. So you need to have a plan. You need to have an understanding of what are my data, what is my data coming in, what is the data I'm going to consume, what are the critical points I need to look at. These are all the top 5 things which I need to look at every day. These are all the top 10 which I need to look every week. These are all the top 20 which I need to look every month. So once you have that matrix, so that would help you to make the correct decision, and that decision can result in actions and implementations for the entire team. Okay, so I've come to an end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, you can write to me, onchu@biovedas.com. You have my numbers also. So anytime we'll be glad to help you out with any of your data management problems in your hospital.